Right guys, Mark Crossfield here. In my hands today I've got the Mizuno MP25 Irons. So we've got forged boron heads, MP25. Let's check them out. Let's get stuck in. Right, so it's always a good day for me when I'm hitting a Mizuno iron, because anyone who watches my videos knows that I've got a bit of a soft spot for Mizuno irons. So let's talk to you a little bit about the new Mizuno MP25 iron. This one is a grain flow forged head, so it's that forged sound stroke feeling, much more through sound I often think than it is the real feeling. That it's going to give you that kind of true Mizuno soft feeling is what Mizuno will be telling us. It's a boron grain flow forged head as well, with a micro pockets kind of cavity in the 3 to 6 iron, which is going through this bit in the bottom of the head here, which Mizuno is saying are helping with ball speed, certainly across the face. Now this isn't an iron I would really think about when it comes to ball speeds. This is an iron that's going to deliver on looks. It's going to deliver on what people define as feel, and then it's hopefully going to deliver possibly on distance control, which then might help with a little bit of dispersion. I wouldn't be looking at this iron and thinking it's going to be the longest one on the rack, longest one for distance. Now we've got some real distances coming at you with my Pro V1X gaming ball and the GC2 as well in this video, but this isn't an iron I'd be looking at for distance in any way. It would need to hit the distance I would want this kind of iron to go. So when you put this club down by the ball, you get a very thin, medium to thin top line, you get a medium to quite thin sole. It's bladed in much of its appearance with this little muscle at the bottom and a tiny little cavity. Next to no offset, and I like the little squat head designs, not too long, which you can get on some clubs in this ilk. This club is going to be aimed much more, as the marketers will say, at kind of low handicappers, mid handicappers, tour pros. But to be honest with you, I don't really ever rate clubs that way so much. It's going to be much more about your ability to find the middle of the club, because if you're not finding the middle of the club with a club with as little help as this, there will be drop-offs in ball speed no matter what boron is used and no matter what slots are put into it and what have you. It's going to have a little bit more drop-off ball speed than maybe some of the bigger cavity-backed clubs. So let's hit it and see exactly what it feels like, and also show you some numbers. So Mizuno MP25, I use the H5s, which are kind of exactly the same but a little chunkier. This is a slimmer version. So anyone who wants to look down at that kind of classic look, this one is going to do that. Next to no offset and a nice thin top line. Let's give it a hit and see exactly how it feels. I mean, it feels exactly as I would expect. It makes that sound, that much truer sound, like it's not springing too much. It makes that feeling, that sound like it's going to be coming off, the ball's going to be coming off the face with whatever I put into it. And I think that's the key point for lots of people, making sure that you are able to put the right speed, the right amount of quality of strike into this club to get what you need out of it. Certainly for looks. I mean, I'm biased with this. It looks exactly what I would want this kind of iron to look like. But I hope you're all big enough and brave enough now to pick your clubs on your looks with your preference, rather than maybe going for something I like the look of, because it is so, you know, subject to the person, that one. Let's give it one more hit and we'll just look at some of the numbers. And like I say, looking at numbers with this club is kind of a bit pointless really. I would be getting fit for this iron much more around the feels and making sure it fits in the distance I want it to do, making sure I've got a shaft that I like the feel of, the length of, making sure I've got the lie set up and the lofts in place, like I say, to hit those distances. Custom fitting in the launch monitor era is great. Obviously I love my tech and I love giving people true facts, but I do think so many people are getting it wrong when it comes to fitting, thinking that it's just about trying to beat the machine and hit the ball as far as you possibly can. You know, for me, I'd be looking on the drop-offs on this club when you do miss-hit it, and find out how much you are miss-hitting it. It could be an education in your custom fit sessions. So let's look at some of the numbers of the MP25. Loving the looks, that chrome finish, next to no offset. It's just classic, isn't it? So Mizuno MP25 is exactly where I'd want it to be really for this kind of iron. 162 with my 6 iron, certainly not my longest 6 iron by a long way, but quite true to what the loft offers on this club. Launching up at 19 degrees, spinning at 5,800, topping out at 6,000, exactly where I'd want a 6 iron to be. Some of those more power based clubs just drop spin off the ball, which keeps them going a bit further, but I want my ball stopping the other end. Peaking high, averaging 32, top one up at 34 degrees. Again, that's where my 6 iron needs to go for me to get any kind of stop down that other end, subject to the ball speeds that I'm creating. Look, I'm loving MP25. I wouldn't game it. I like a little bit more help than that. I would be in the bracket of players who can game this club. I just don't see the point in giving help away. I love the look of this. I would want to use it. It fits into my kind of what people expect me to use. It's those kind of things, and lots of these companies, and certainly Mizuno, do trade on that image a lot. You know, the product's of the highest quality, and it's, you know, it's really well made and very true to what it does. It's very interesting. Their marketing story around this one kind of hints at distance, but then kind of mocks distance as well. It's an interesting one. I think Mizuno, in an era of launch monitors and lots of companies out there with bells and whistles and chasing often the distance, there's a few out there, isn't there? They're not quite sure where they sit. I know where they sit for me. Post comments down below, where do they sit for you? Is it an iron you would try, wouldn't try? It's just too hard to hit. It's one that you would want to hit. I know this is an iron many would aspire to. MP25, loving the look of it, love the feel of it, numbers are true. What more could you ask for? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more videos. Find me on Instagram at Crossfield Mark, also on Twitter at 4golfonline. Find me on Facebook, Mark Crossfield. Thanks for watching. Post comments as always, and see you soon.